Coach Wayne Tinkle posts up here on the Marching to Madness College Basketball Podcast. Oregon State has started 12-4, and the Beavers won two of their first three West Coast Conference games last week, defeating Portland and San Diego, but lost to Loyola Marymount. A top characteristic of this team is its defense. It allows opponents to shoot only 39.6% and score only around 63 points per contest. Coach, discuss the ability for Oregon State now to be able to refocus after that defeat over the Toreros after a tough loss.
Yeah, well, it was really our mindset. We were upset with our focus when we got down there to practice. You know, one thing I said about this team, I knew we were going to have a chance to be good, but even through some of our early victories, the tough losses to Oregon and North Texas, we still had to learn how to win and learn how to fail. And so in this point of the season, if we don't have the focus to the details in our scouting reports, and we don't bring our hard hats, you know, we're not nearly as effective defensively. And then we carry that frustration over to the offensive side, which has been much improved through most of this year. So with 9 new guys, it's still a work in progress. But we love what we have. But we've got to continue to mature and grow with that mental and physical toughness because the competition is only going to get better and better from here on out.
Let's start with that defensive attack. Talk about the ability to drive teams deep into the shot clock. I mean, they're averaging right now 18.6 seconds per possession. That's 349th out of 364 college basketball teams.
Yeah, well, we do a nice job of making teams play in the half court, you know, by taking care of the ball and taking our kind of shots, allows us to get back and build our defense. And then we really, you know, pressure the ball and then load our gaps off the ball. You know, we've done a nice job of forcing teams into contested jump shots, and that's your number one goal on the defensive end. And surprisingly, you know, early in the year, we had a good presence at the rim. We blocked a lot of shots. That slipped a little bit. But we're much better when we're dialed in at not allowing opponents to get high percentage shots around the rim and then shoot contested threes. And we've done better rebounding it as well. So you add all those things up. I think it's because we have kind of increased maturity, depth. Depth is a great creator of discipline. Guys aren't doing it our way. They're going to be sitting next to us on the sideline. And guys figure it out sooner or later. So all those things added up, I think, what puts us in a pretty good position defensively, again, when we're locked in and focused.
9 new players, obviously, on the Beavers this season. How quickly can they connect to form this type of defense?
Yeah, well, they've come together nicely, quicker than we thought. And, you know, it doesn't surprise us because we recruited high character kids, you know, and a lot of them from winning programs, so they know what it takes. DeMarco Minor's been an incredible leader for us. You know, Mike Ratai is really the lone holdover from that big freshman class 3 years ago. You know, he stayed locked in and bought into our plan, getting back to our winning ways here. Those two have really done a nice job of setting the tone, of doing things the right way day in and day out. And then guys like Latoris Lelovicius done a great job of quickly acclimating to our system. He's been a big part of it as well. And so credit to the guys for buying in, and you know, they want to win. And you know, when we suffer because we don't play to our abilities, those 3 guys are quick to kind of get guys refocused in the locker room and before the next time we hit the court. So we'll give them a lot of credit.
Nate Kings and Michael Ratai are a duo who are at the top of finding and making the triples. Kings actually has made 49.2% of his 3-point baskets so far.
Yeah, he's done a great job. He takes good shots. The times that he doesn't get, when we want him to shoot more, he's still trying to figure out, you know, within our motion, how important it is to move without the ball, to become a great screener as a dangerous shooter. But, you know, he's done a really good job. I mean, 49% is nothing, you know, to shake your head at. But we need him to be more aggressive, and I think moving without the ball is a big part of that. Mike started out a little bit slow earlier in the year shooting it, but has come around nicely. I think he's around 37%, and he's really a tough matchup. Again, he's playing exclusively at the 4 this year. Last year, he played mostly at the 3. So he's got bigger guys guarding him. He can drive them from the perimeter. If they sag too far off, obviously he's got the ability to knock down the 3. But really, his defense, he's our leading rebounder. He's kind of, wears all the hats that we need him to wear, and has been a big piece for us. And he's going to continue to have to lead, which is somewhat of a new role for him as we move forward. We're early in conference play. We're really starting week 3. We need him to continue that leadership on both sides of the court and in the locker room, quite frankly.
I was able to watch and study you guys in the Diamond Head Classic, which was a good thing because all 3 games were on national TV. I noticed DeMarco Minor kind of first. I thought he was a key asset with his quickness and then his ability to find teammates who would have more efficient opportunities to get to the basket.
Yeah, no, you're right. He really does a lot of things defensively that don't show up in the stat sheet. Just the pressure that he puts on the ball. Another reason why it takes teams quite a while to get into their stuff. And then offensively, he's been a scorer everywhere he's been. And we're not trying to take that away from him, but we want him to have the mindset of setting the table first, and if guys aren't maybe connecting, he can look to be that scoring punch. But there's been games where he's only had 3 shots and maybe 5 points, but 8, 9, 10 assists, and we win. And then there's been, some games where maybe he's got to score a little bit more, 18 or 20 with 5 or 6 assists. And he's trying to figure out that balance. But I know we love having him on our squad. Again, he's our spearhead defensively. And then we need him offensively to be the guy that rallies everybody and gets everybody feeling confidently out there by getting them good early looks.
Your players have 4 games where they have 20 or more assists in that game this season. How have you seen that force defenses to make adjustments during games?
Yeah, I mean, other teams will change their ball screen coverages. We haven't faced much zone, I think, because we shoot it so well from 3 as a team. But they try to double our low post, because when we're really good, we have that inside out balance. And I've coached that way for a lot of years. We haven't had that the last few years. This year we do. And it's no surprise with our scoring punch on the interior that we're shooting good percentages from 3, because the defense has got to collapse in there, and we've got willing and talented passers and more shooters. The last few years we've had to play a lot of one-on-one and kind of bite our lip because we only had 1 or 2 guys that had the ability to score. This year we've got multiple scores. We got guys that are willing to defend as well, and I think that's why we're in the position we're in.
I have Parsa Fala scores inside, and Isaiah C also has impact in the post. As Ratai can go inside, outside, how does he create even more matchups for the 2 big men down low?
Yeah, I mean, he's a good passer from the perimeter because he's got length and a willing passer. He's a threat to where teams can't just sag off of him in the lap of the low post, so I think that's important. And he's a great screener. There's times we go to our sets, our bread and butter, buckle up the chin strap and pound it at him. But Parsa, when he's working down low and we get him the ball on time, he scores at a better than a 70% clip. When we get it to him a little bit late, those percentages drop. Isaiah, oddly enough, came to us as a 48% three-point shooter from junior college a year ago, but he hasn't really gotten off to that yet. He's struggled shooting it, but he's a guy that can get to the rim and score it. Latoris Lelovicius is another guy that's an inside-out threat, much like Ratai, but really has shot it well from 3. We need him to be more aggressive shooting that thing from 3, but that's a pretty good little combination. Matt Marsh, 7-footer, transfer from Wake Forest down around your area.
Yeah.
He's got to become more of an offensive presence for us, whether it's deep seals or being a lob threat, dunker spot guy. And then we're developing Johan Munch and Maxime Logie to be guys that can, this second half of the season, we need to have somebody in that group that I just mentioned step up and be another low post threat so we don't put all the pressure in the world on Parsifala's shoulders.
Tora he scores inside and outside, which I love that. It's a tough matchup. Obviously, what are key abilities that allow him to be able to, he can kind of stylize the defenses against based on hitting at three and then coming back and going boom, off the dribble.
Yeah. He's mature beyond his years. He's got a lot of experience overseas, playing in and out of Lithuania. So he's again just a very mature and heady player. We feel very confident when the ball's in his hands because he's got great size and length to pass over the defense. When he's under control, he can go perimeter to post against smaller defenders. And if they put bigger guys on, he can stretch it and shoot it or drive around them and finish at the rim. And he's better than 90% free throw shooter, dang near. So we need him to get to the free throw line a little bit as well. And the combination at the forward spots with he and Ratai makes it pretty tough. Now, they may not be the most quick or athletic guys, but they're very skilled. They have the ability to shoot it from deep and put it on the ground and post. So they're real triple threats.
The triple threat position, I think it goes under noticed sometimes during basketball games. Nobody talks about the efficiency an offense can have if you've got two or three guys, that are set to do that type thing.
Well, you look at our three-point percentage as a team, you've got Nate Kings, even DeMarco Minor, his numbers are up from a year ago. But then Nate, Isaiah's going to get it going. But we got LT, Mike, a couple of Josiah Lake off the bench is shooting in the low 40s. So teams got to pick their poison. They've got to get to shooters. And then if they're going to leave Parsifala and our bigs one-on-one in there, we like our chances.
Last thing, Coach, you got a pair of road games here this week as the Beavers go to Santa Clara and then Pacific, playing Santa Clara first. And they've won 7 out of 8 games. I'm sure they're going to be a tough matchup. Adama Ball leads 5 Broncos in double figures.
Yeah, very up-tempo. They like to shoot a lot of threes. Their whole deal is to make 10 or more. They get it up in transition, put a lot of pressure on you defensively. We've got to take care of the ball and take our character shots to allow us to get back and build our defense, whether it be zone or man. I don't think we can let them get in a rhythm. So we'll look for us to mix and match a little bit. But a real challenge, especially at home. They're playing really well, home and away. But the other thing is they've had a lot of time to prep. They haven't played for darn near a week and a half, to where we've played a couple of games in that gap. So they'll be fresh and ready to go. And then Pacific's a team that, new coach, new system. They're trying to figure some things out. But it's not easy to win, whether you're home or on the road. It's even tougher when you leave the friendly confines. So this group, we've won a couple of neutral site games in Hawaii, but in true road games, we're just 0-2, and we weren't very good the last time out against Loyola. And I think that had a lot to do with fatigue, quite frankly, because of our schedule over Christmas. But no excuses now. We're fresh and ready to go. Our guys have to be ready to answer the bell tomorrow night.
Coach Wayne Tinkle, always one of the best interviews and one of the best basketball coaches, guys, that Marching to Madness posts up on. Your Coach, it's always a pleasure, man. I wish you the best of luck, and I'll be watching the WCC and those Beavers.
Well, I appreciate it. It's always good to be with you, Ken. Glad you're doing so well. Happy New Year to you, and go Beavs.
Go Beavs.